I'm Lisa Gable, and I have had amazing opportunities. At the age of 19, I went to work for the Reagan administration, and I worked at the White House and the Pentagon. At the age of 24, I was recruited to Intel Corporation by the man who would become CEO and chairman. At the age of 30, I had the honorary rank of a 3-star general. When I was vice chair of a Department of Defense commission, helping women become better integrated into the military and giving them more opportunities. And at the age of 40, I became a U.S. ambassador. However, today, I'm tasked with solving a very complex problem: food allergies, something that affects 85 million Americans and 500 million people around the world. What I learned from Ingenuity is to always demand unity of purpose. What I learned from former Air Force Secretary Barbara Barrett is always replace yourself with another woman when you're going out of a high-level position. Because women helping women is how we're going to solve the tough problems, whether it's giving voice to our food allergy moms or mentoring our rising leaders. And that's the purpose of this inspiring interview series. Resilience, diligence, optimism, those are the defining characteristics of the women I'm going to introduce you to. So welcome to Breakthrough. Today's episode is about human potential. Joining me today is a woman who is known for her determination, grace, glamour, and belief in the potential of the women she meets and mentors. Melissa Dawn Simkins is the First Lady of Personal Branding, the founder of Velvet Suite. She has pioneered breakthrough ideas and personal brand leadership, which helps business women unlock purpose and move to a higher level of performance. Melissa, who has been a friend of mine going on 5 years, please introduce yourself.
Oh, Lisa, it's so good to see you and so good to be on your show. I love what you're doing with FAIR. Congratulations on all your success. I'm here just to have a great conversation with you and catch up, and also let all of the listeners, I guess, listen in and hopefully learn something along the way as it relates to leadership and being a woman and in these times.
Well, I appreciate your joining. Melissa has quite a following, and we'll send you to her personal digital later, but really a huge following. And it's been so much fun for me to watch your growth and the growth of your business. So Velvet Suite. Velvet Suite is where your business started. It's all about helping people reach their full human potential. Talk to us a little bit about how you help unleash leadership at all levels and why. And also, of all the arenas you could have gone into, because you have an amazing background, incredible talents, you opted to lean into tapping one's personal potential. Why is that?
Oh my goodness. My journey has been one that's been very personal. I think I started my business really out of a personal pursuit of purpose and really challenging myself to unleash my own potential and recognizing that I wasn't alone, that there were so many leaders, untapped leaders, people who had been overlooked, undervalued, underestimated, who struggle with the same challenges around how do you lead a life that's successful, but success on your terms. And I left corporate America. I left a very comfortable job and a great title and position to do what I felt was pursuing purpose, which was Velvet Suite. And the whole concept of the company was really taking my expertise of personal brand and applying it to people and helping people unleash their potential, and specifically helping people who worked in an enterprise, in a company, right? And you know this because of your long history of experience and working in different environments, different industries. It's more than just doing the work. There's the relational side of it. There is the understanding how to accentuate your strengths and build your success and learn from your mistakes, right? And so I felt like there really wasn't a blueprint around how to navigate all of this. And I really wanted our company to serve as that partner to leaders and to companies around getting the most out of people and overvaluing people in a new way and recognizing that they really are the catalyst of growth for your organization.
They absolutely are. And I think one of the things that you bring to bear when you're talking to women, I've had the chance to be with you at one of your events and really meet and watch you interact with women, is you talk about being grateful for what you've achieved. You mentioned that you walked away from a 6-figure corporate job and title to start your own business. When you were doing that, did you have any fear or doubts as you made that decision?
Yes, Lisa, I did. As a matter of fact, I delayed the decision for a couple of years. I had talked about it. I had contemplated it. And then I said, Melissa, you gotta put up or shut up. Like, you gotta quit doing this dance around why aren't you moving forward? And the bottom line, it was comfort. It was comfort in what I knew versus the fear of the unknown. And I literally left my job a couple of months before I was vested. And people would say, that is ridiculous. Like, why would you do that? But I did it because I felt if I wasn't going to bet on me, then I wasn't going to do it at all. And it was a risky move, but it was a risk that was calculated because I knew that I had pondered this and I started putting in place some plans around scenario planning. And it really was using what we use at our company, which is a 90-day plan, that helped me really begin to assess my strengths, my gaps, and say, okay, if I'm really going to move forward in this new direction, what are the steps I need to put in place to do so? I got a roommate. I did not take a new job assignment that I was asked to take because I knew if I really was committed to making this transition, I was going to need to spend my evenings, like 7 o'clock to midnight, working on my business plan. And so I really started to make decisions that were aligned with my intention. Then I had to ultimately I had to do it, just make the decision to go.
And it's taking that big leap. It's jumping in the deep end of the pool. And if you're lucky, you get to jump in that deep end of the pool with other people. So did anything happen in your life that made you want to make this change? A lot of our moms out there are food allergy moms, and, and they've actually changed out of a corporate track very similarly to go into other things because of issues around their children. Was there anything going on in your life that brought about the change, or was it just, this is the time for me to own my life?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I really say the catalyst was a defining moment in my life. I was 24 at the time. I had a great job. I really enjoyed what I did. I worked for a wonderful company, and I had a suddenly happen. The gentleman that I was dating at the time died unexpectedly at 27, playing basketball one day on a basketball court in a local gym in Chicago. And that last conversation I had with him was about us potentially looking at moving to the same city and planning a life together. And when you're 24 and you are invincible, unstoppable, that puts a period on something that was going to be like a comma, something else was coming after. And it really made me assess purpose in a different way at a very young age. And it really sparked in me. I've always kind of been an introvert and someone who is risk averse. And I honestly, Lisa, believe I got my courage to live differently then, because it was really clear to me that I did not have the time that I thought I had, and I think for your allergy moms, when we're faced with challenges in life, whether it's the sickness of our child or whether it's an unexpected death or suddenly a financial downturn, it really causes us to step off of the treadmill and ask ourselves some hard questions. And that sometimes will lead us on a new journey of pursuit of a new passion, right? My new passion was about purpose and discovering mine and saying, well, everyone else needs to figure theirs out. For allergy moms, it's like, I need to figure out the answers to how to heal my child and keep them healthy and protect them from anything that's going to cause them not to have the quality of life they deserve. It takes you on this new journey. And I just say, welcome it, because life is uncertain and it's not promised. And it's how we use the time that we have that matters.
Well, and it's so important. And I think it's one reason why you and I bonded, because when I was in my mid 30s, when my husband and I got married, my husband was diagnosed with a malignant tumor that was a reoccurring tumor. It actually comes back quite frequently. And that just changes your entire perception. And I know when we were talking about, you had already started the business and were well into your life, and a different life than what you'd anticipated and planned, but it's having those life moments. And we've all had it with the pandemic, right? We've all had these pivots where we've had to accommodate some moment in time, but a lot of people are now redefining themselves. And it's one reason I wanted to do this interview with you, is because as people are reemerging, they're redefining. I think one of the things you talk about on your website and your writing and in your articles and when you give interviews is the Melissa motivation. And how do you help women improve their personal growth strategies, and why is a personal growth strategy important? And as we just talked about, we know, I'm not even going to ask, does it change at different points in times in your life at different life stages? Because I know that it changes from your experience and my experience. So what is it? And what do you want to tell the women who are listening about it?
Yeah, it is. Growth is a choice. I really do believe that. I think that we are born, and if we don't take the initiative to stretch ourselves out of that comfort zone, we stay stagnant. And even though the years calculate, we can still find ourselves, our life at a standstill, right? We haven't really progressed. Our mindset hasn't shifted. Our relationships haven't shifted. Our life hasn't shifted. And I get it because, again, like I said, I am someone who likes comfort and tends to be risk averse. But I find that women in particular challenge with confidence, right? And that the data shows that. And one of the reasons why is because we are still sitting in our comfort zones. And so I believe one of the greatest catalysts to confidence is getting out of your comfort zone. I have this mantra: I will be comfortable being uncomfortable. Melissa motivation is not comfortable for me. Doing interviews from someone who is, a naturally more of an introvert is not necessarily comfortable to me, but it's gotten to be more of a comfort zone because I've gotten into a growth zone. It's pushed me past my fear. And so I think, as women, and I've learned that from you, I've watched your career. I mean, I've looked at the way that you've done so many innovative things, the first, and to break through barriers and to take on executive leadership roles. That doesn't come from comfort, right? That comes from pushing yourself out of that zone. And this podcast, this conversation, this interview is really about giving that gift of growth to other women and recognizing that sometimes people won't tell you you can do it. And we're here to say you can, but you're going to have to go through a little pain and uncomfortability, but that's a part of the process.
And I think there's so much good we can do right now. It's interesting. I was out and about on Saturday seeing people I haven't seen for the last 15 months because my husband and I got our shots now. We're gone on 6 weeks ago. So we're in the area where we can see other people, and talking to so many moms right now about things going on with their kids who are in the process in their mid 20s. Even as we're speaking to everyone who's listening, is being able to tell them, give us a buzz. We've all been through difficult times. And right now, so many people are going through such a difficult stage that, as you say, getting out of your comfort zone, it is never comfortable going on stage. I don't know anybody who doesn't have like a moment where they have to take a big breath. Okay, before I'm going to walk out on stage, I do this thing where I clench my hands really tight and then I relax my entire body. So we all have our own thing to get over our fear. One of the critical elements is your team, your family. You've got to integrate their growth with your own. And it's not always the same. Sometimes it's different. And so how do you help people find how they manage their personal growth with the growth of their team or the growth of their family? You're all at different stages. People are going to emerge from COVID in really different ways. And so how do we manage that conflict?
Yeah, it's so critical, I believe, for us to think about growth starting with me, right? And as women, we tend to be doers and givers, and we give to everyone else except for ourselves. And we're the last on our to-do list. So I think growth starts with you really defining what does success look like. And I always say success on your terms. It may not be about work. It may be about getting better sleep. It may be about spending more quality time with your kids and turning off your devices. It may be, shifting your mindset from an I can't to I can and I will. Whatever those little steps are, I say document them, again, make them a part of an intention and activate them all the time as much as you can. The reality is you can't do it alone. You need accountability partners. I call my husband my purpose partner, but I have purpose partners in a lot of areas of my life, right? I think of you as a purpose partner when I say, hey, I'm brainstorming about this and I want to look at what we can do to support women. What do you think? You're a thought partner for me. So I think about looking at the relationships that are in your sphere, your personal, your familiar, your friends, your people that you work with, and identifying those who you want to share. Look, this is the new me. This is what I'm really focused on right now, or this is a challenge I'm really trying to overcome. Will you help hold me accountable? I say I'm going to drink my water every day. Or, okay, am I drinking my water? Am I getting my sleep? Whatever those things are, just don't do it in your head. Find someone else to support you in it and help them join in your purpose to get, to a better you and to find your growth spot.
Well, and it is so important. And it's especially important because women have, we know from everything that we've read, it's been a tough time for women, and women have been managing kids at home and school at home, and all of that crammed into, weird, even people are going back to school, it may be Monday, Tuesday, Friday. So, I think it's important for all the women, and especially as our food allergy moms, they've had some degree of relief because their kids haven't been venturing out to possibly have a cross contamination. And now they're sending them back to school, and they're making sure that they're waving the flag and ensuring, with all the other variables going on with back to school, that people are aware. So I think what you've pointed out is so important for everybody to think about your growth partners and the person that you depend on. And it's really time to lean into your friendships and lean into those who support you in your team, in your personal life. And one of those is your family. Family means a lot to you. Family means a lot to my community. And I know I was so amazingly honored when I went to your event to speak, and you sat me with your mom and your husband. And when they're lovely people, loved your mother, so warm and generous. And when I look at your website, when I was getting ready for this interview, you've got family photos. It's at the center of your homepage. And so, your family is very important to you. It seems to define who you are. And so how do you honor the commitment to your family while you're also protecting your time and sort of achieving those growth goals we just talked about?
You said a mouthful. It's hard. My husband's back there, over here, and my son, we have a blended family, right? So we have 4 boys, from 4 to 31. We are a family of 2 entrepreneurs. So how's that during COVID? And we both, working on building and making sure our family is taken care of. I am someone who struggled to get pregnant. I went through several rounds of IVF. I'm very open about that because motherhood to me is everything, because I wanted it for so long. And for a long time, I didn't know that I was going to be able to have that experience. So I believe it is the heartbeat of my relationships. It empowers me to do what I do, but I will tell you, I struggle with it just like any other woman. I have to have those conversations with my husband and say, look, I'm struggling right here. I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'm feeling like I need a little bit more from you. Or he says, I need a little bit more from you. And we have this negotiation of support and needs and requests and expectations. And I would say the thing is, I don't have the golden bullet answer, but it is communication. It is partnership, right? I am not doing this by myself. And success for me is not just about a status if my home life is a wreck. I have to, that is the check and balance for me. How does my son feel I am present with him? To me, that matters more than the next client that I get, right? So I've got to be able to have that check and balance. And the only way I can stay authentic to that is I have someone who can call me on it, my husband, and say, look, if you say this is important, we need to make time for that. I find finding delegation partners is so important. My mother, as you said, we moved my parents here. My father is a prostate cancer survivor, but he is still going through treatment. And we moved, helped my family, my parents move here right before the pandemic, and they're right down the street. But having them close and, also being a caregiver to my parents has helped me have support to help me navigate the things I have to do in terms of managing my time. So it's just about a matter of being intentional and finding the right relationships around you and being transparent about your needs. Lisa, I will share with you, one of the things that I've had to learn in this pandemic is I can't do it all. And no is a complete sentence. And a lot of women have had to come to that awareness. We knew it, but we'd had to realize, like, I'm overwhelmed. I just can't. And when we say that, it's because we got to realize we need help, and being okay asking for help and receiving help is a great opportunity for us to grow. I'll put it that way.
It is a great way for us to grow, because sometimes we feel like we have to do it all and we have to be able to manage it all. And I think part of the conversations that we have is that we recognize you can't, and you're just, have to be so honest and upfront about it. And people do have bad moments. And I think, as someone who's been managing people who are at really different stages in their life, how we weave that management through has enabled us to actually get to know our employees in ways that we would never have gotten to know them before. We know their children, we know their dogs, we know everybody knows my cat because she misbehaves and I have like the door sealed shut so she can't get in here and start walking around the screen. But it is a place where we have crossed a lot of lines over the last year. And I think for our family, we grew closer because that's who you were with, right? People stayed with their family units. And now as people are emerging, first and foremost, who do you want to see? You want to see family members you haven't seen for a while, but protecting that time is really important. Well, as we wrap up, there are three big items that we always ask everybody. The first is, what women inspired you to break through?
Several women, I think, inspired me to break through. Number one, my grandmother. I have both grandmothers, but my surviving grandmother has 11 children. My mother is the oldest of 11. And to see her radiance, her ability to move through adversity and challenges and changes, truly is an inspiration to me. Maya Angelou is someone else that I looked up to as growing up. I often recited several of her poems. And so I found like she was someone who gave me my voice. When I was very shy and wasn't good at public speaking, I would recite some of her poems. And I also think I find inspiration from Esther in the Bible, and her story of being courageous as a young woman and going before a king and putting her request before him in a very way that she would not have had that access or opportunity, and she found her voice. So I find inspiration from women who find their voice. And I think those are three women who inspire me. And of course, my mother as well is another one that I just find great inspiration from her. She is resilient. She is someone who's also been kind of a coach and a mentor to me. So I find a lot of what I'm doing now is kind of an extension of her as well.
Well, it's very funny. If any of my friends are watching, they actually know that I also align my thoughts with Esther in the Bible. She's always been my biblical figure. And so if my friend Robin Sprague is listening, she's going, oh my God, another Esther person. But better than Sarah. That's a whole other thing. But what are you doing to inspire the next generation of female leaders?
Oh my gosh, I am doing what I love, which is a part of my life work, which is the Brand Leadership Institute. So we have an online leadership accelerator for women called the She-Suite Brand Leadership Institute. And it's all around a 6-month experience to help women build a blueprint for personal and professional well-being around how do they elevate their brand with purpose. And we look at addressing 4 what we call blind spots, which is clarity, confidence, competence, and connections. And I'm so proud of the women that we've been able to reach. When I started this, Lisa, someone had shared with me, I don't think that people are going to connect with your content outside of one-to-one. I was like, no, it's not about me. It's about a community and bringing all of these women together. And this year we'll crest over 500 graduates from across the country, which is so exciting. And major organizations across the globe have partnered with us. And we've had 33% of these women promoted, 80% retention. I mean, we're just seeing, and most importantly, these women are coming out knowing their mission, vision, and purpose, their MVP. And to me, that is like the gift that keeps giving. They're passing it on to their family, their friends, their colleagues, their team, their community. So it's about this multiple effect, right? The multiplier. And to me, that is changing lives, and that's changing next generation.
Well, that's fantastic. And we can get everybody, we'll go through all your digital so people know where to go and look for that. What advice do you have for young women watching who are trying to break through, or a woman who's re-entering the workforce?
Yeah. My husband had given a book to me, and actually I started rereading it this weekend. I can't remember the author, but it's stories like Madame Albright and different leaders and what they would have told their younger self. And I started reading it on Saturday, and I was thinking, and in the foreword, he wrote, what a gift it is to hear from leaders of what they would have done differently. And it was interesting to hear some of those perspectives, and caused me to start thinking about it for myself. And one of the things that I would have said to myself and still say now is always pursue purpose. Like always pursue something bigger than yourself, and really look at that true voice inside of you that's saying, this is what I'm born to do, not what I've been told to do or what other people think I should do, but really looking at that. And I remember thinking, is anyone ever going to pay me for this stuff? Like, I think it's a great idea and it feels natural to me, but I mean, I need to make money. I need to be able to live. And I just kept pursuing it, and it packaged itself in a job or a position, or even now as an entrepreneur. And I just thank God that I did that, and it happened when I was in my 20s, but it didn't have to be in your 20s. It could be when you're 10, you start that pursuit, or even coming back to the workforce and thinking about who do you want to be when you grow up now, right? And looking at, what is my why? What is my purpose? What is my gift to give to the world? And that is what you will never be hired or fired for. You just show up, and every day you're getting value because you're on purpose. So to me, that is my message, my mantra.
Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful message for anybody that's listening. And I think it's so critically important is for people to find their purpose and live their purpose. And we never stop growing. We never stop needing to be mentored. We never stop reinventing ourselves. There's so many stages in life. And until you've been through an entire life, it's actually hard to recognize all those moments. So Melissa, you are a huge inspiration to so many people, and you've done such a fabulous job. Where do people find you?
Well, I will tell them where to find me, but I first have to thank you, Lisa. I have to thank you because from day one, I was a stranger to you. I reached out to you, and you were someone who lifts as you climb. You literally opened your heart, your hand out to me and said, "Hey, I'd love to participate in the summit. I'd love to support you, and I'd love to introduce you to some of my other colleagues and friends." And that's the type of women leader we need now, not just by name and title, but by women who literally step up and support by action and show allyship. And so I thank you for that. And this has been so much fun. So I just wanted to say that first. But you can find me. Our website is theshesuite.com, SHESUITE.com. So you can find everything about what we do in terms of advancing women in leadership. Our company site is Velvet Suite, VELVETSUITE.com.
Well, great. Well, people go and pull everything up. Take a look. Melissa, you are truly an inspiration. We really, really appreciate you. You're very kind to say all those things. You and I were definitely a meeting of the minds when we met, and I knew I had found someone that I had a lot in common with. So it's just been a joy, and I look forward to the continuation of our relationship and all the exciting things that you're going to do. So thank you.
Thank you.